Hi, to install WSL2, first go to the command prompt and then run as administrator. Then type in WSL install. This might take a while, and make sure your Windows is up to date. Reboot your computer when it's done. We have rebooted our computer. Here's how it looks like when it's done setting up. Here I use the username Roy, and so the home folder is over here. For Linux work, I highly recommend the Windows Terminal app. It's from Microsoft. You can find it from the Microsoft Store. Once the terminal is installed, you can enter Ubuntu by simply calling it from the Start menu, Terminal, and then type in Ubuntu. This switches from Windows to WSL2 to Ubuntu. And now you can create a folder manually. In Linux, it would be mkdir followed by the name you want, the folder name. In this case, let's create programs because we'll use it later. You can also alternatively launch any application. So that would be the program that I wish to launch. Space, if this dot means I would like to launch this program with the working current directory of the terminal as the current working directory for this program. So in this case, it would open up explorer.exe located at wherever my home folder is in Ubuntu, which in this case, so this is the actual, this over here. I just did Control L, by the way. Now to work with SSH for GitHub, first go to your GitHub account. So log in and then go to settings, down to SSH keys. Now you actually need to generate a key first. So let's go here and do this SSH keygen ed. Now we need the public key in order to paste that into the GitHub account. So to do that, you're going to have to do either open in the public key, which should be, if you chose the default place to save your key, it should be over here. This squiggly line means home / your username. So if you don't want to open up Notepad, you can just do it in a terminal. So you will copy the entire thing, whichever it displays, and then you bring it over here, press new SSH key, paste it here, and give it a title. Then press add SSH key. We just added our public key to GitHub, so now we should add our private key to SSH agent. According to the official GitHub guide, we just need to run these two commands. This one to start the agent, and this one, assuming this is where you have your private key, you just run this one to add it to SSH agent. And we just did this step. Now after you have installed VS Code, the first time you open it, you're going to see a little prompt over here. So install the WSL extension from Microsoft. Okay, Me personally, I also like some other extensions I really enjoy are the Atom 1 Dark. These are definitely optional, by the way, and also bookmarks. Now the trick is for these general purpose extensions that I know I would be using, I would install them on Windows. For the language extensions such as Julia, Python, R, Corto, I would install that in Linux. Okay, so let's close this for now. And, let's install Julia. When you navigate to Julia's website, you'll see, I think usually I search for Julia downloads, but I would actually go for official binaries for manual download. So please do not use something like sudo apt-get install Julia. That will get you some outdated version of Julia. And when you report a bug, they actually really, basically they're going to tell you, we're not going to take this bug report unless you use the official binaries. So for Linux, you actually have to go here, generic on x84. So these are ARM processors are for, say, Raspberry Pi. So you go here, if you're on 64-bit Windows or Linux, in this case I think we are, then you go over here and download a manual. They call it a manual binary. Once you're done downloading it, you're going to have to move it to WSL directories. So what I would do is I would actually just open it up in Windows Explorer, cut, and then go over here, and I tend to put it in programs. That's just how I am. You can put it wherever you want. Now I'm not sure what this path is, so I go like this, launch it Explorer at this current location, and I tend to just paste it over here. Now you're going to see this is a tar gz compressed file. So there's a command for doing this in Linux. It would be just tar-xvzf, and then the name of the file you want to do the uncompressing. So I just press tab over here. Now you just have to type the first few letters and tab it, because this is basically the only file in this directory. So now it's unpacking a bunch of stuff. Great. Now we can see that, now we can just remove that file, 1 point something, -Linux tab. Yeah, so that's the one we want to remove. So now we're only, so you see, we have this identifier. It's because we copy and pasted something from Windows to WSL through Windows Explorer. So you can safely actually delete that. And you should actually be able to see it here. Okay, so sometimes that's the thing about Windows Explorer. In WSL, when you make a change, you might have to go back in the same folder again to see updated files. So I would just permanently delete that, the zone identification. We don't need that anymore. So now I'm actually going to rename this one to simply Julia. This is, by the way, optional. This is just my workflow. Now we have a path to Julia, which is really home, Roy, which is the squiggly line, and programs, then Julia. And inside Julia we have bin, right? And inside bin we have Julia. To add Julia onto the path, what we do is the official instructions are add this to the bash rc or bash rc bash profile. So we'll do bash rc. Now this is usually in the home folder, the tilde over here. So we can just navigate to that, cd tilde, and notepad bash rc. It's a hidden file, so we need a dot in front. There should be some auto-generated content already from when WSL2 installed Ubuntu. So we'll just go down to the last line here, add a comment, add Julia to path. Copy that command over. Now, remember our Julia path was basically home, programs, Julia, bin, save, exit. Let's see if this works. So actually, let's log out and then log back in. Hey, it does. To exit, we just have to do this. Now, to uninstall Julia, you just have to delete that Julia folder. So this is the hidden folder that Julia uses to store all its libraries, virtual environments, and so on. So what you would have to do is, let's close all this. Let's launch a fresh version of Explorer. If you ever want to delete Julia, you delete this one, which is where all the virtual environments are stored, and you delete the binary, which is over here, the stuff that we just added to the path. When you want to upgrade Julia, you just have to replace this folder where the binary is with the uncompressed new version of the binaries. So these are the contents of that compressed file we just downloaded. So that's all you have to do when you upgrade to a new version of Julia. If you want to be safe, you can also delete this one, but usually it doesn't. Julia is smart enough to create new versions in here. If this folder ever gets really bloated, then you might want to delete it. Julia would just re-download the packages and so on. It's not a problem.